In Idaho Falls, a couple survived a terrifying home invasion that could have cost them their lives. Returning home from an outing, Isabel relaxed on the couch, busy with her phone, unaware of the lurking danger.
It's 1:30 in the morning at this home in Idaho Falls. Time for lounging, watching a little TV, and checking your phone. You would hope that anyone who comes calling at this hour is family or a friend.
Suddenly, a loud bang threw the door open as an armed intruder barged in. He pointed his shotgun at Caspian, who was in the room opposite the entrance stairs. The intruder ordered Caspian to sit, then turned to Isabel on the couch, who was paralyzed with fear.
I just hear a loud bang and the door flies open.
I've got a couple of roommates that live downstairs, so having people come in and out at all hours of the night isn't super odd, but I kind of noticed him, and I did a double take.
Sit down, boys, right now.
Summoning his courage, Caspian charged at the intruder and started wrestling for control of the shotgun. Isabel quickly rolled off the couch, trying to call for help, but unable to voice out. The intruder began dragging Caspian down the stairs. Caspian managed to overpower him, seizing the shotgun and kicking the intruder out of the house.
Grabbing the shotgun barrel.
Instinct kicked in, and I wasn't letting go of that shotgun. At that moment, just straight adrenaline, I would say.
2 minutes later, there was a knock at the door with an unbelievable request. The intruder wanted his shotgun back. Caspian and Isabel refused, and when the intruder tried to force his way back in, they overpowered him again. The police arrived and Caspian handed over the shotgun, recounting the entire incident. Later that night, the suspect, a 28-year-old man named Eddie Walker, was arrested. He pled guilty to the crime and was sentenced to 11 years in prison.
Caspian is actually being dragged down the stairs, still holding that death grip on the shotgun barrel, as the intruder is now on his own version of an escape route.
Desperate burglars often become brazen in their attempts, and these two men were no exception. Armed with a crowbar, they approached a small residence in broad daylight, confident enough to carry out their plan without the cover of night. The clip shows one of the men working at the window frame, careful not to break the glass. He pauses to scan the area, seemingly on edge, while his accomplice approaches from the side. The two men use their tools to pry at the window frame, moving slowly and deliberately to avoid making noise or breaking the glass. It takes them about 2 minutes to create an opening wide enough to slip into the building. One of the burglars hoists himself up and through the window. For the neighbors, it was as if the whole scene happened in near silence. The burglars' methodical approach made it likely they would have gone unnoticed. The final moments capture the burglars completing their entry, leaving behind a scene of tension and drama, almost imperceptible to the outside world. Three men invaded a large house while the owners were asleep at night. The intruders entered one after another. The leader walked in first to check if anyone was around. He went into the lobby to his right, followed by the other two. One was armed with a knife, while the others only wore gloves. They walked upstairs to the man's bedroom and after a while returned downstairs armed with kitchen knives and wires. The leader appeared with a purse and moved toward a room. Hearing movement as the woman awoke, he quickly ran back to join the others. Unexpectedly, the woman fired a gunshot from the room, causing the intruders to flee. They escaped through the window. The gunshot woke the husband, who rushed downstairs armed with his gun. To protect his wife, He searched all the rooms to ensure the burglars were no longer inside. While some people don't like having surveillance cameras in their homes, in this case, it proved to be very useful as it caught a pretty thorough break-in by a few people.
Safeguard to ward off these two. Check out the video. Timestamp 11:32 Tuesday.
How else could one explain how a bunch of men smashed in a person's door after jumping over the fence? The man who was burglarized had had this happen before, learning from his first experience and covering his property in surveillance.
They jumped the fence and ran straight to the back door. The man in red has his face covered. The man in black, well, he figured he'd just pull up his shirt. Enough for him, he thought. They break in.
The men used a rock to break into the house, spending roughly 3 minutes stealing jewelry, a laptop, and a few other items. Later, the homeowner wasn't sure what to do next. Clearly, this is a pattern of behavior, and even a gated community like this isn't safe.
With the help of a rock, got in at 11:36, got out at 11:39, scored a haul too.
A box of jewelry, which they put into a coach purse.
In this video, a looting operation was underway, unbeknownst to the looters that it would be their last. 2 brazen burglars burst into a home while the owner was away. One smashed a back window to enter, while the other came through the front door. They offered cookies to the house dog, Claw Chloe, to keep it calm. Unknown to them, they were being watched live.
You can hear the sound of glass smashing as a burglar makes his way through the back door. Then he lets his buddy in through the front. Both of them quickly case the place.
And you take this right here, take this out.
The homeowner, Damien Gerard, a graphics designer, had installed a security camera system. From his office 5 minutes away, he watched the thieves in real time. Immediately, he called 911 and reported the situation. Several units quickly responded and arrived at the scene with guns drawn, heading straight upstairs. One of the suspects jumped out of an upstairs window, but was apprehended a few blocks away after being chased through a backyard and into a park. Both men were arrested and charged. According to Damien, the security camera had been automatically activated by the loud noise, and fortunately, he had the technology to help in his moment of need.
Cops arrived with guns drawn and headed straight upstairs. You can actually see the shadow of the other suspect as he jumps out the window.
Burglaries don't always unfold under the cover of darkness. Sometimes they occur at the crack of dawn. At just 2 in the morning, a CCTV camera captured the cautious approach of a lone burglar as he scoped out his target.
It's a Friday morning at 2:20 a.m. and a distinguished gentleman is walking down the North Circular Road with a suitcase as if he's just come in from Santa Ponza.
The footage shows him walking up to a house, carefully reading a banner and making sure the coast is clear. He then circles the property, searching for an entry point, only to be joined by a second set of people who remain unaware of his presence.
We see Daff appear in front of the moose box. What might he be doing? Daff tries to open the moose box at several points.
The robber slips into a catering box, and one might expect him to emerge with valuable items. However, what he actually takes is surprisingly mundane.
And he stands deadly still, in a position not unlike the Statue of Liberty. The couple do not notice Daff either.
To everyone's astonishment, he emerges with nothing more impressive than a plastic trash can, along with about 50 euros. The haul seems barely worth the effort.
He continues to work away at the moose box and eventually is able to prise open the top section of the door.
He then makes his quiet exit, carrying the plastic bin and a Santa suitcase, leaving the scene with the same stealth with which he arrived.
Doors of the moose box, as if he wants to have a little nap. He needs privacy, after all.
A man posing as a door-to-door candy seller cooperated with burglars to break into a house. In Stockton, California, A homeowner innocently opened the door to buy a box of candy, unaware it was part of a robbery plan. As the door opened, 3 men burst into the house while the candy man stepped aside to let them in. The attack on the woman inside made her scream in terror. Meanwhile, the candy seller left, abandoning the homeowner to her fate.
This guy sure looks like he's selling candy door to door, but something sinister is about to take place. Watch what happens when the homeowner in Stockton, California opens the door to buy a box of candy. Out of nowhere, 3 guys burst into the house. It's a home invasion. You can hear the woman screaming in terror.
Later that same day, the candy man was caught attempting the same trick at another house. This time, the homeowner refused to open the door, and he was unsuccessful. According to reports, the candy man wore a mask to protect his identity. He appeared anxious and nervous. Unable to gain access, he left and headed to another apartment across the street, looking for his next victim.
Neighbor's security camera caught Candyman trying to pull the same stunt, but this time the homeowner refused to open the door.
Terrifying moments caught on camera show a Phoenix homeowner defending themselves against several suspects trying to break in. The Phoenix Police Department released this surveillance video, which shows 4 men kicking in a front door only to be met by gunfire from the homeowner.
You can see 4 men kicking in a front door only to be met by gunfire from the homeowner. That homeowner says they were alerted by a motion sensor linked.
The homeowner reported being alerted by a motion sensor linked to their surveillance cameras and managed to arm themselves just seconds before the door was breached. The suspects quickly fled the scene in a gray car before officers arrived. If you recognize these men from the surveillance video, call Silent Witness.
Their surveillance cameras, and they were able to arm themselves just seconds before their door was kicked in.
The suspects quickly fled the scene in a gray car before officers arrived. If you know who these men are by the surveillance video, call Silent Witness.
This alarming home invasion occurred in Houston, Texas, where 4 armed men forcefully broke into a house. However, the outcome of their operation took an unexpected turn. It was midnight when the invaders, armed with rifles, arrived. The first man tried to break down the front door 3 times. His first 2 attempts failed, but on the 3rd try, he managed to knock the door down. As they rushed inside, they were met with a barrage of gunfire from the homeowner, who was firing from his bedroom. Fortunately for the invaders, they managed to escape without injury. On April 12, 2024, police responded to a call about a home invasion in Toronto. CCTV footage captured the dramatic entry of 2 armed suspects wearing ski masks as they broke into the house, clearly intent on finding valuables. The footage shows the men confronting the homeowner and robbing her of her money. After their theft, they fled the scene in the victim's SUV. The stolen vehicle was later recovered, and the suspects were apprehended at a mall and taken into custody. Rodriguez Ethan, a resident of Texas, protected himself from an attempted invasion at his apartment. An imposter attempted to break in, but his plan was thwarted. The intruder posed as a maintenance worker, claiming he was there to check if other workers had inspected the apartment's air filters. Rodriguez replied that no one had come.
Oh yes, they came to check your air filters. I'm not sure. This is 8277.
Apartment. No one came to the air filters.
Can you repeat that?
No one came to check the apartment.
The intruder then knocked on the next room's door but received no response. Frustrated that his plan was failing, he decided to force the door open, using his body and legs to kick it down. At this point, his hidden accomplice appeared and joined in the attempt to break down the door. Shockingly, the homeowners began shooting at the door, causing the intruders to flee. The Dallas police arrived promptly to handle the situation.
You guys give us a guys. Can I go inside and grab all the stuff? Okay. Yeah, dude, I gotta do. I'm spazzing hard to work right now.
In Arlington Heights, a home invasion was captured by a ring camera. The footage shows two intruders dressed in black jackets, caps, masks, and gloves arriving at a residence. The intruders notice the camera and are seen examining it. Moments later, the door is opened by the homeowner, and as the intruders enter, shouts are heard from inside. Shortly after, one of the intruders is seen fleeing outside with the homeowner in pursuit. The homeowner punches and curses at the intruder until he manages to break free and escape. The homeowner then rushes back into the house. In the footage, a determined homeowner grabbed his gun and scared off a group of men attempting to invade his house. This home, located in Clayton County, was targeted by robbers during a nighttime operation. Unbeknownst to them, they had chosen the wrong house to burglarize.
See the evidence on this BMW from that shootout, just riddled with gunfire. That man said he just wanted to make sure his wife was protected.
Evidence of the ensuing shootout was found on the house owner's BMW parked in the garage. Whitefield Smith had been observing a group of men on his ring camera. He saw a young man run from his neighbor's yard across his front lawn to meet up with two other individuals. One of the men made a near-fatal decision, sprinting up the driveway and appearing on camera. He returned later that night, hunched down, wearing a gray hoodie and carrying a firearm. He attempted to break into the BMW in the driveway. Aware of the ongoing operation, Smith grabbed his rifle and fired at the robber. A shootout ensued with the robber firing back while trying to escape. Fortunately, Smith successfully defended his home.
I don't want to die at home. I survived Afghanistan and everything else.
According to Smith, his primary concern was protecting his wife. He didn't regret his actions, even though engaging in a direct shootout was risky. He credited his BMW for providing cover during the confrontation. Thankfully, no one was injured.
Boom, 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 boom. There was one gentleman that was on the other side of the trees, and the main protagonist was right here using my truck as a shield.
Police are looking for help to find two men who are responsible for an armed robbery in southwest Miami-Dade.
For help to try to find two men responsible for an armed robbery in southwest Miami-Dade.
According to the police, the victim was in his yard when two people jumped the fence, pointed a gun at him, and demanded that he hand over his necklace. The victim handed it over, and the crooks took off.
Him and demanded his necklace. The victim handed over the jewelry, and the crooks took off running. If you know anything, call police.
A mother, driven by a fierce determination to protect her children at any cost, found herself in an unexpected situation early one morning. On April 3, 2017, around 10 a.m., a casually dressed man approached her house, which was situated close to the highway.
Close to 10 in the morning, this guy casually walks up. He knocks on the front door of this Miami Gardens home. He's in full view of the highway. He looks around, and then he tries forcing the door open.
The man looked around, then suddenly began trying to force the door open. He kicked it repeatedly, but the door held. The woman heard the banging, but initially thought she was dreaming. When she looked out the window and saw the man, she quickly ran to her bedroom to get her shotgun. Meanwhile, her children were screaming and crying. Finally, the intruder broke in with one last kick, but he was met with a gunshot from the woman. He quickly fled, and fortunately for him, escaped unharmed.
My kids. You can see her pointing that shotgun and yelling at the guy. This mother now needs the public's help. Police say the suspect got away and still hasn't been found.
Some armed robbers are skilled at blending in to avoid suspicion.
This is for you.
In East Haven, one such robber posed as a delivery man with a package for the homeowner. He approached the house and waited for the unsuspecting homeowner to open the door. As the homeowner reached for the package, the robber suddenly drew a pistol from his waist. However, the homeowner wasn't entirely defenseless. He struck the robber in the chest with an object, causing him to stagger back. Realizing his plan was failing, the thief quickly ran to the waiting car and escaped. On October 11, 2019, at around 4:05 a.m., an unusual invasion occurred in a homeowner's residence. This time, it was an animal invasion. Home surveillance footage captured the homeowner's dog sitting calmly at the entrance of the house when a leopard suddenly attacked. Neither the dog nor the homeowners were aware of the imminent danger. The leopard attacked the dog by its head. Despite the dog's struggles, it couldn't break free from the predator's grip. Tragically, the leopard killed the dog before the homeowners could intervene. A Chicago homeowner, Jason Williams, got an alert from his security camera that an intruder had broken into his house.
I looked, if there was an available weapon. There was a frying pan laying there, so I grabbed the frying pan.
There he is, chasing the suspect.
This clip shows him chasing the suspect out the front porch with a frying pan in hand. The homeowner takes another swing as the suspected burglar opens the gate and flees. But he didn't get away easily, as the cops immediately caught sight of him.
Out the front porch with a frying pan at the ready. The homeowner takes another swing as the suspected burglar opens the fence and flees. Not so fast, here come the cops.
This deadly home invasion took place in series when a group of armed men terrorized a family while they were asleep, intent on stealing their belongings. Fully armed with guns, the intruders forcefully entered the family's home through the entrance door. Some wore hoodies and covered their faces, concealing their identities. One of them even attempted to disable the doorbell surveillance camera.
They're dead asleep. They're dead asleep. I swear to God.
Upon entering, they demanded to know who was home. Despite the presence of children in the house, the thieves were solely focused on finding money, showing no concern for anything else.
No, get in the middle. Black, now. I got nothing, bro.
The next video shows a violent robbery that happened in Fairfield. This unsuspecting man, who just got home, was unprepared for what happened next. He was trying to open his door to go inside when a man dressed in all black came at him from behind. The robber held onto the man's right wrist, demanding if he had anything in his pocket. The victim tried to put up a fight but was struck with a gun in the head.
Hey, don't move. Hey! Shut up. Come on, take everything out your pocket. Give me your pocket. No.
Becoming more submissive, the victim struggled less as the crook took his belongings and fled while he hurriedly entered his house. In this footage, a terrifying armed robbery attempt unfolded when a fake delivery man targeted a house. On the morning of April 14th, a man disguised in a home delivery uniform, holding a parcel, approached the residence. However, he was not there for a legitimate delivery. He was armed and intending to rob.
I don't know if this is for you.
Upon knocking on the door and it opening, he feigned reaching for a delivery in his pocket. But as he rushed towards the homeowner, brandishing a gun, he was met with resistance and pushed back into his retreat to his truck.
Dressed as a delivery driver with a package. When someone comes to answer the door, the suspect keeps up the act, saying the package may be for them.
This next snippet is quite a remarkable story about porch pirates caught in the act.
Now to this incredible story. Porch pirates duke it out for a box right after it's delivered, and it is caught on camera.
In Sinking Spring Borough, Pennsylvania, surveillance footage captures the moment two men struck as a package was delivered right to a home where the residents were present. The two men arrived in separate cars and immediately targeted the package. One of the men even picked up a flower pot, seemingly to fend off any potential interference. The box, which contained a phone from AT&T, was taken, and the homeowner is baffled as to how the suspects knew it was being delivered. The police are still on the hunt for these two suspects. This robber was apprehended while attempting to break into a store through the ceiling. After opening the door and entering, he found himself trapped when the door unexpectedly closed behind him. Unaware that the store owner had set a trapdoor to thwart thieves, he struggled to escape until the owner alerted the authorities. The police promptly arrived and arrested him at the scene.
This robber caught on camera breaking in through the store ceiling. He opened the door to get inside, but as he entered the hallway, he accidentally let the door close behind him. The robber didn't know, but when he tried to get back out, he realized it was actually a trap door that locked him inside.
Some of the most terrifying crimes are handled calmly and without emotion. The robbers in this situation make their way into the house without issue, covered from head to toe. They slowly move into the living room, completely unaware that they're being filmed. Calmly, they begin discussing what they plan on stealing. There's a method to it. Nothing too big, only things they can pick up and walk out without issue.
Lại kiện cờ. Big ass speakerphone. Can you get out some? No. We're going to do this. Yes. We can go back. I remember to avoid that door. Avoid that door.
They make a second round on their way in, coming back for more stuff. The sterile way they make their way through the house, their practiced movements. It's unclear whether these men have done this before, but it's hard to imagine it's a first-time job. More importantly, how to do it right. This home invasion took place in East Willenbury, as reported by the New York Regional Police. Following a call just after midnight, the police responded to an attempted burglary at a residence located in the vicinity of Charlotte Abbey Drive and Holland Landing Drive. According to the police report, unidentified individuals armed with guns broke into the house. During the intrusion, one of the residents was struck by one of the assailants wielding a firearm, who then demanded money. After carrying out their operation, the suspects fled in a light-colored vehicle with stolen valuables before law enforcement could arrive on the scene.
New York Regional Police have released video of a home invasion in East Willenbury that happened yesterday.
Police say they were called to this home in the area of Charlotte Abbey Drive and Holland Landing Drive just after midnight.
In downtown Los Angeles, a home robbery was captured on surveillance cameras. The footage shows a car trailing two victims who were waiting for an elevator. Suddenly, gunmen emerged from the car, storming into the elevator lobby. They demanded the victim's jewelry, money, and keys before fleeing the building. Police are seeking public assistance in identifying and locating the suspects.
This video just in, a frightening scene of a follow-home robbery in downtown LA. Surveillance cameras showing a car following the two victims. The two men waiting for the elevator, the gunman jumped out of their car.
Two masked armed men were captured on home security footage, prowling around a room, rifles in hand, while their victims lay on the ground. During the ordeal, the thieves made off with approximately $100,000 worth of jewelry belonging to the homeowner, Katie. They rifled through Katie's possessions, taking her tools, jewelry, and a safe containing her college tuition and rental savings before departing. Subsequently, one of the robbers, identified as Joe Banks, was apprehended, convicted of robbery, and sentenced to 2 years and 3 months in prison.
Marching around a room, rifles in hand, with the victims laying on the ground. The guests also had nearly $100,000 worth of jewelry stolen by the thieves.
On September 14th in Portsmouth, Virginia, an elderly couple was robbed at gunpoint in their own home, and the incident was captured on their Ring camera.
Get in the crib. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Y'all get the closet. Get the closet right now.
An elderly couple robbed at gunpoint in their own home, and it's all...
The footage shows two armed men forcing the couple into a closet. While the woman complied quickly, the suspects grew impatient with the man, who was slower to move.
The couple go into the closet. The woman goes in right away, but the suspects get angry when the man moves too...
The woman then returned to help the man retrieve his walker. When he walked toward the wrong room, one intruder angrily redirected him. The video further captures one suspect searching the living room and kitchen for valuables, including cell phones, before both suspects left with a safe and other items. In Seattle, Washington, a man wearing flannel wasn't just taking a leisurely stroll through the neighborhood. He was scouting houses. Unbeknownst to him, the homeowner, a member of the United States Marine Corps, had been monitoring the camera feed and stealthily tracking his movements. As the intruder approached the front door, he found himself cornered, with the Marine poised to strike.
This flannel-wearing man is out for more than just a neighborhood stroll. He's casing houses. But what he doesn't realize is that the homeowner, a member of the United States Marine Corps, has been watching the camera feed all along.
A physical altercation ensued, with both men grappling and tumbling down the steps, wrestling on the ground. The suspect proved to be no match for the Marine's combat skills. Meanwhile, the homeowner's wife alerted the police, who arrived on the scene and apprehended the invader with the Marine's assistance.
The intruder quickly discovers that he's no match for the hand-to-hand combat training of a Marine. Meanwhile, the homeowner's wife is already on the phone with police. The Marine keeps the situation under control until officers arrive.
In Houston, Texas, a home invasion took a dramatic turn when 4 armed men forcibly entered a residence. The incident unfolded at midnight. The intruders, armed with rifles, arrived and attempted to break down the front door. Despite 2 unsuccessful tries, the third attempt succeeded, and they managed to knock the door open. As the men stormed inside, they were met with a barrage of gunfire from the homeowner, who was firing from his bedroom. Miraculously, the invaders managed to escape unharmed. 3 robbers were captured on camera breaking into a home in Atlanta, their rampage caught on surveillance footage. As the armed men wreaked havoc, a woman emerged from a back room wielding a gun. One intruder aimed his weapon at her, resulting in shots being fired. In a split second, the robbers fled while the woman pursued them, eventually calling 911.
Holding a gun comes out from the back room. One intruder points his gun at her and shots are fired.
Amidst the violent confrontation, one of the criminals was fatally shot. However, the woman will not face charges for his death, as it was deemed an act of self-defense. The identities of the remaining 2 intruders remain unknown.
During the violent exchange, police say one of the criminals was shot and killed.
A Texas resident successfully thwarted an attempted break-in at his apartment by an intruder posing as a maintenance worker. The intruder claimed he was there to inspect the apartment's air filters, but Rodriguez knew no such inspection had been scheduled. When his deception failed, the intruder knocked on the door of the adjacent room, but got no response. Frustrated, he resorted to kicking the door open, using his body and legs to force it. At this point, an accomplice emerged and joined the effort to break into the apartment. The situation escalated when the homeowners inside began shooting at the door, causing the intruders to flee. The Dallas police responded swiftly to the scene. On January 6, 2023, a dramatic scene unfolded at a restaurant in Houston when an armed robber entered, disrupting the peaceful atmosphere. Wearing a mask and brandishing a pistol, the robber demanded money from everyone inside. Fearing for their lives, patrons complied, throwing bills on the floor and relinquishing their cash and valuables. However, one courageous individual, wearing just a t-shirt, took action. As the gunman passed by, he sprung into action, firing his own weapon. He reassured the other patrons that they could reclaim their belongings after making a startling discovery. The robber's pistol was fake. In a remarkable turn of events, this brave customer managed to thwart the robbery attempt, ultimately saving lives and restoring order to the restaurant.
Masked robber brandishing a pistol, ordering all the people inside to hand over their money.
In the footage, a determined homeowner in Clayton County, Georgia, successfully defended his house from a group of would-be robbers. During a nighttime break-in attempt, the robbers targeted the wrong house. Evidence of the shootout was evident on the homeowner's BMW, which was parked in the garage.
Ring camera. I'm noticing a young man running from my neighbor's yard across my front lawn into the middle of the...
Whitefield Smith, the homeowner, observed the suspects via his Ring camera. He saw one young man running from a neighbor's yard across his lawn to join 2 other individuals. One of the men made a critical mistake by approaching Smith's driveway and trying to break into the BMW.
With 2 other gentlemen.
One of the men made a near-fatal decision.
Sprints of my driveway. I can see on camera that he's hunched down, wearing a gray...
Smith, aware of the situation, grabbed his rifle and fired at the intruder. A shootout ensued, with the robber returning fire while attempting to flee. Smith successfully repelled the attackers, using his BMW as cover. On July 18, 2017, 2 armed invaders attempted to rob Texas store owner Kuram Manga and his son. The robbers brandished their guns, but Manga and his son refused to back down. Despite their attempts to detain one of the robbers, both perpetrators ultimately escaped. Fortunately, neither Manga nor his son sustained any injuries during the altercation. In their haste, the robbers left behind a loaded gun, though they managed to evade capture. A mother's fierce determination to protect her children was put to the test early one morning in a dramatic confrontation. A casually dressed man approached the house near the highway.
Close to 10 in the morning, this guy casually walks up. He knocks on the front door of this Miami Gardens.
The man began to force the door open, kicking it repeatedly. Despite his efforts, the door remained intact. The woman inside heard the banging, but initially thought she was dreaming. When she saw the man through the window, she rushed to grab her shotgun from the bedroom as her children screamed and cried.
Tries kicking it down repeatedly. A mother inside with her 2 young children, but investigators say he messed with the wrong mom.
The intruder finally managed to break in with one last forceful kick. but he was met with a gunshot from the woman. The man quickly fled, fortunately escaping unharmed. Meanwhile, a troubling Ring camera video captured a group of robbery suspects coercing a homeowner into unlocking his front door at gunpoint. The incident occurred in North Carolina, where the homeowner was accosted by 5 armed men upon his return home. The victim suffered a blow to the head from one of the assailants' firearms, and the robbers proceeded to ransack the home, stealing money, a cell phone, and undisclosed drugs. They fled the scene, prompting law enforcement to utilize the video footage in their efforts to apprehend the perpetrators.
Police say the North Carolina homeowner was approached by 5 armed men as he was returning home. One of the robbers hit the victim on the head with a gun.
On October 11, 2019, at around 4:05 a.m., a distressing and unusual invasion occurred in a homeowner's residence, but this time, it wasn't a human invasion, but an animal invasion. Home surveillance footage shows the homeowner's dog sitting calmly at the entrance of the house when a leopard suddenly attacks. Neither the dog nor the homeowners were aware of the looming danger. The leopard seized the dog by its head. Despite the dog's desperate attempts to escape, it could not free itself from the predator's grip. Tragically, the leopard killed the dog before the homeowners could intervene. On the night of July 9, 2015, tragedy struck a Bradenton home when a couple was brutally murdered while their 5 children looked on in horror. Surveillance footage captured 3 armed men forcefully entering the home through the front door.
Now at 11, a couple with their 5 children close by. Tonight, we're taking you inside the Bradenton home.
The scene was horrific, with Cantrell Brooks and Esther Denuse, the homeowners, left dead in pools of their own blood. Upon arrival, the police discovered 2 bedrooms where the children were sleeping, surrounded by their toys and clothes scattered near the bloody crime scene. In the master bedroom, a monitor from the home security system displayed the chilling footage of the gang breaking in through the front door, a haunting image that may have been one of the last things the couple witnessed. Despite their investigation, authorities remained baffled by the motive behind the targeted attack.
Police gone, the landlord showing us the damage and horror left behind by this violent attack.
Under the cover of darkness, these intruders approached this house with a menacing intent. Armed to the teeth and shrouded in hoodies and masks, they made their entrance through the front door.
They're dead asleep. They're dead asleep. I swear to God.
One of the men took the precaution of disabling the doorbell camera, ensuring their identities remained hidden. Once inside, the intruders demanded to know who was present in the house. Despite the children's cries echoing through the rooms,
I'm opening. I'm opening. I'm opening. I'm opening. I'm opening.
What's your name?
I'm opening.
What's your name?
their sole focus was on locating the family's money. The thieves exhibited chilling disregard for the family's safety, driven only by their greed. The Toronto police have released a video depicting 4 suspects attempting to break into a house through the back door. The day prior, these armed robbers, all wearing matching outfits, had made a failed attempt to break into the same house. In an effort to apprehend the criminals swiftly, the police have shared the video with the public, seeking assistance in identifying and arresting the suspects.
Police have released video of 4 suspects wanted in a break-and-enter investigation in Scarborough.
In the morning light of April 14th, an unsettling scene played out as a carefully orchestrated armed robbery attempt unfolded. The footage captures a man, disguised as a delivery person, approaching a house with deceptive calm. Dressed in a home delivery uniform and clutching a parcel, he appeared to be a typical delivery worker.
I don't know if this is for you.
But the facade was a cover for his true intentions. As the homeowner opened the door, expecting a routine delivery, the man abruptly shifted his demeanor. He feigned reaching into his pocket for the delivery, only to reveal a gun and rush towards the homeowner with malicious intent.
Dressed as a delivery driver with a package. When someone comes to answer the door, the suspect keeps up the act, saying the package may be for them.
However, the homeowner's quick reaction turned the tables. With a firm push, the homeowner repelled the attacker, forcing him to retreat in haste. The would-be robber stumbled back to his truck, leaving behind the failed robbery attempt. The Phoenix Police Department has released surveillance footage capturing a homeowner's harrowing defense against suspects attempting to break into their home. In the video, 4 men are seen kicking at the front door, only to face gunfire from the homeowner. According to the homeowner, they were alerted by a motion sensor connected to their surveillance cameras, allowing them to arm themselves just moments before the door was breached. The suspects hastily fled the scene in a gray car before law enforcement could arrive.
Phoenix homeowner protects themselves from several suspects trying to break in.
In an unusual turn of events, a robber found himself trapped while attempting to break into a store. His plan was to access the store through the ceiling, but things quickly went awry. After managing to enter through the door, he was met with an unexpected complication. The door closed behind him, locking him inside.
This robber caught on camera breaking in through the store ceiling. He opened the door to get inside, but as he entered the hallway, he accidentally let the door close behind him. The robber didn't know, but when he tried...
Unbeknownst to him, the store owner had cleverly set up a trap door specifically designed to thwart thieves. The robber, now caught and unable to escape, struggled in vain.
To get back out, he realized it was actually a trap door that locked him inside. It turned out the store owner had been robbed so many times. He removed the handle and even reinforced
His plight was eventually discovered when the store owner alerted the authorities. Police arrived swiftly and apprehended the frustrated burglar at the scene. The surveillance footage captured 2 unidentified men attempting to break into a house. Dressed in hoodies, their faces obscured and armed, the individuals approached the front door. They knocked repeatedly, but received no response. After a minute of persistent knocking, they departed from the scene, likely deterred by the absence of any signs of activity inside the house. In East Willenbury, a distressing home invasion occurred, as detailed by the New York Regional Police. The incident unfolded just after midnight when the police received a call about an attempted burglary at a residence near Charlotte Abbey Drive and Holland Landing Drive.
New York Regional Police have released video of a home invasion in East Willenbury that happened yesterday.
Police say they were called to this home in the area of Charlotte Abbey Drive and Holland Landing Drive just after midnight.
Upon their arrival, the police discovered that armed intruders had forcibly entered the house. During the break-in, one of the assailants struck a resident with a firearm and aggressively demanded money. Despite the chaos, the intruders managed to steal valuables and make their escape in a light vehicle before law enforcement could intervene.
One of the residents at the home telling police several men broke into the house and had guns. One of the suspects hit one of the residents with a firearm and demanded.
On October 19th in Auburn, Washington, 2 masked men attempted to force their way into a residence by kicking the door multiple times, but their efforts proved futile. In response, the homeowner, situated inside the house, fired a shot at them. The bullet struck the glass, prompting the would-be thieves to hastily retreat and escape from the scene. In a harrowing home invasion captured on security footage, 2 masked and armed men were seen prowling around a room while their victims lay helpless on the ground. The robbers, wielding rifles, looted the house, stealing approximately $100,000 worth of jewelry and other valuables from the homeowner, Katie. They ransacked her belongings, including tools, jewelry, and a safe containing crucial funds for her college tuition and rental savings.
At
At the start of the video, you can see two masked armed men marching around a room, rifles in hand.
Following the crime, one of the robbers, Joe Banks, was arrested. He was convicted of robbery and sentenced to 2 years and 3 months in prison.
With the victims laying on the ground. The guests...
An attempted vehicle robbery took a sudden and dangerous turn when 2 teenagers found themselves on the receiving end of unexpected resistance. Despite their efforts, the teenagers failed to rob the vehicle. However, their target fought back, causing the would-be robbers to flee in a panicked rush, fearing for their safety. In a quiet Seattle neighborhood, a man in a flannel shirt seemed to be out for a casual stroll.
And this flannel-wearing man is out for more than just a neighborhood stroll. He's casing houses.
But his intentions were far from innocent. The would-be intruder was carefully sizing up houses, unaware that his every move was being closely monitored by a vigilant homeowner, a seasoned Marine who was watching the camera feed. As the man lingered near the front door, he likely thought he had the perfect opportunity to strike. But what he didn't know was that the Marine had already slipped into action, preparing to intercept him. When the intruder reached for the door, the Marine confronted him head-on. What followed was a tense physical struggle as the 2 men clashed, rolling down the front steps and grappling fiercely on the ground. Despite the intruder's attempts to break free, he was no match for the Marine's combat training.
Tussling on the ground, the intruder quickly discovers that he's no match for the hand-to-hand combat training of a Marine.
With the homeowner's wife on the phone with the authorities, the police arrived just in time to assist in subduing the invader. Thanks to the Marine's quick thinking and bravery, the neighborhood was spared from a potential break-in, and the suspect was taken into custody. In Florida, a potentially dangerous home invasion was thwarted thanks to the quick actions of the homeowner. Video footage from the homeowner's doorbell camera captured the moment 3 men approached the front door. Upon opening the door, 2 of the men forcefully entered the home, while the third brandished a handgun outside. Eventually, all 3 intruders made their way inside, but fled in a panic when the homeowner fired a gun at them. They rushed back to their vehicle, where a getaway driver awaited. Following the incident, the police made 2 arrests: DeTorrance Hackworth and Antonio Dwayne Dean Jr. Both face charges including use of a firearm during a felony, possession of a firearm by a felon, larceny, grand theft of a firearm, and home invasion robbery with a firearm.
3 men approached the front door of a home. When the homeowner opened the door, cops say 2 of the men pushed their way inside while a third stayed outside.
3 robbers were caught on camera during a break-in at a home in Atlanta, their actions vividly recorded by surveillance footage.
3 robbers caught on camera breaking into a home in Atlanta.
As the armed intruders wreaked havoc inside the house, a woman emerged from a back room with a gun. One of the robbers pointed his weapon at her, prompting a tense exchange of gunfire.
A woman holding a gun comes out from the back room. One intruder points his gun at her and shots are fired.
In the chaos, the robbers quickly fled the scene, with the woman giving chase and subsequently calling 911. During the confrontation, one of the thieves was fatally shot. Authorities later ruled the shooting as self-defense, so the woman will not face charges. The identities of the remaining 2 robbers are still unknown.
It looks like the men scramble to escape as the woman chases them.
In another alarming incident of home invasion in Florida, surveillance footage captured 2 suspects barging into an apartment through an unlocked door while a couple was present inside. One of the burglars seized the woman and dragged her out of sight of the camera, while the other roughed up the man who was seated on the couch. Subsequently, both victims were restrained as the suspects ransacked the home, pilfering various items before making their getaway without leaving a trace. Thankfully, the woman emerged from the ordeal unscathed, though the male victim sustained injuries during the ordeal.
A very scary home invasion in Florida, and it was all caught on camera. You can see here the 2 suspects rush into the apartment through an unlocked door.
On January 6, 2023, a Houston restaurant turned into a scene of high tension when an armed robber entered, disrupting the otherwise calm environment. Masked and wielding a pistol, the robber demanded money from everyone inside. Terrified patrons complied, throwing their cash and valuables onto the floor. Amid the chaos, one brave individual, clad only in a shirt, took decisive action. As the gunman approached, this customer drew his own weapon and fired at the robber.
The restaurant customer who shot and killed an armed robber is coming forward today.
It was then discovered that the robber's pistol was a fake. This courageous act not only thwarted the robbery, but also ensured the safety of everyone present. The incident ended with the would-be thief fleeing the scene, and order was quickly restored to the restaurant.
Then this happens. He makes a startling discovery about the robber's pistol.
On June 21, 2017, 2 intruders plotted to invade a house located on the outskirts of the city. In a surprising turn of events, the intruders walked into the house only to realize it was occupied by its rightful owners. The homeowners responded swiftly, chasing the intruders away with gunshots. Fortunately, the intruders managed to escape, but not without encountering an unexpected and unwelcome reception. On July 18, 2017, 2 armed men targeted Texas store owner Kurum Manga and his son in a dramatic robbery attempt. The robbers, brandishing their guns, sought to intimidate the pair, but Manga and his son stood their ground. Despite their brave efforts to subdue one of the thieves, both men managed to escape. Fortunately, Manga and his son were unharmed during the incident. In their hurried retreat, the robbers left behind a loaded gun, but despite this oversight, they managed to evade capture. A terrifying crime unfolded in Richmond, prompting the police to issue a public appeal for assistance. 4 individuals are suspected of attempting to break into a home, with the moments before and after the incident captured on camera.
Home and knock on the door. Seconds later, the door opens and 2 other suspects run around the corner, one of them holding what appears to be a shotgun, the other a rifle.
In the footage, the suspects approach the home and knock on the door. Within seconds, the door opens and 2 additional suspects emerge from the corner, one brandishing what appears to be a shotgun and the other wielding a rifle. Reacting swiftly, the homeowner slams the door shut, thwarting the attempted invasion as the suspects make their escape. Police investigations suggest that this was not a random crime. In a disturbing turn of events, a Ring camera video captured a harrowing robbery in North Carolina. The footage shows a homeowner being confronted by 5 armed men who coerced him into unlocking his front door at gunpoint.
There's a group of robbery suspects forcing a homeowner to unlock his front door at gunpoint.
As the homeowner returned home, he was struck on the head by one of the assailants, who wielded a firearm. The robbers then proceeded to ransack the house, making off with money, a cell phone, and some undisclosed drugs. After their crime, they fled the scene, leaving law enforcement to use the video footage in their pursuit of the suspects.
As he was returning home, one of the robbers hit the victim on the head with a gun.
Once again, a courageous homeowner has defended his property by confronting 2 suspected thieves who invaded his cars. In the video footage, 2 young men can be seen rummaging through an SUV parked in the garage. However, the homeowner, Evelio Soto, had already taken action to protect his family and property.
Night for Evelio Soto's family after returning home from their kids' track practice quickly turned into a nightmare.
The incident occurred late at night, shortly after Evelio Soto's family returned home from their children's track practice. At around 11 p.m., Soto's wife alerted him to the attempted break-in. Home security footage revealed the suspects rushing onto the Soto's property and breaking into an unlocked SUV. Without hesitation, Soto retrieved his gun and fired at the intruders. During the confrontation, one of the thieves fled down the driveway to escape, pursued by Evelio. Meanwhile, the second suspect managed to evade capture. Fortunately, no one in the Soto household, including Evelio, sustained any injuries. The police arrived on the scene to initiate an investigation.
One person starts going through the contents of their car.
On the night of July 9, 2015, a Bradenton home became the site of an unimaginable tragedy. The couple, Cantrell Brooks and Esther Denuse, were brutally murdered while their 5 children, huddled in fear, witnessed the horror. The night's events were captured in chilling surveillance footage showing 3 armed men forcefully breaking into the home through the front door.
Now at 11, a couple killed with their 5 children close by. Tonight, we're taking you inside the Brazen home where it happened for new clues.
The aftermath was a scene of pure horror, with Brooks and Denuse found dead in pools of their own blood. As police arrived, they found 2 bedrooms where the children had been sleeping, their toys and clothes scattered around the bloody crime scene. In the master bedroom, a monitor displayed the haunting footage of the intruders breaking in.
We can show you just as disturbing. 2 bedrooms where up to 5 children were sleeping, now turned upside down by detectives and family members.
A grim reminder of the last moments the couple might have seen. Despite a thorough investigation, the motive behind this brutal attack remains a mystery to authorities. In a startling turn of events, a brazen burglary was initiated by an unexpected culprit, a bear. Captured on camera, the wild animal forcefully entered the 2-story building through a window. Unaware of the impending danger, the homeowner was inside the room, enjoying his early morning coffee, unaware that it would be his last. The bear proceeded to attack the man, causing severe injuries before exiting the room through the same window. However, the bear's rampage was short-lived, as it met its demise soon after.
His way into the 2nd-story window. Dinner is on the table and he smells it.
The Toronto police have released surveillance footage showing 4 suspects trying to break into a house through the back door. The previous day, these armed robbers, dressed in matching outfits, had attempted to breach the same residence, but failed. To aid in their capture, the police have made the video public, asking for assistance in identifying and apprehending the suspects.
Police have released video of 4 suspects wanted in a break-and-enter investigation in Scarborough.
A group of armed robbers targeted an apartment in Kentucky, as depicted in a video released by the Warren County Sheriff's Office. The footage shows 5 men breaking into the residence of an unknown individual. As they attempted to enter one of the rooms, the homeowner, concealed in a corner, fired a gunshot at them. In response, the robbers hastily fled the scene. On a Saturday, near KRA and GR, a suspect initially rings the doorbell of this house and knocks, but receives no answer. After a brief pause, he begins to pry open the front door with a tool. Suddenly, someone inside starts screaming, causing the suspect to flee.
This is Saturday near Culebra and Gollum Road. You see the suspect here. First goes to the house and knocks on the door, ringing the doorbell there.
A surveillance video unveiled a harrowing armed robbery at a Valero gas station located on West Sunrise Boulevard. In the footage, 2 suspects entered the gas station, with one of them proceeding to the counter and brandishing a gun at the clerk's head. Meanwhile, the other suspect seized cash from over the counter. Following the robbery, the suspects fled the scene. In a bold move, the clerk pursued the robbers and fired shots at their getaway vehicle. However, shortly thereafter, one of the suspects was discovered deceased in Hollywood.
Pistol whips the clerk and holds a gun to the clerk's head, while the other suspect grabs cash from over the counter. Police say when the robbers took off.
This incident was captured on Ring video. It shows 2 people returning from a casino when the suspect attempted to enter their home. The victims managed to lock the door and prevent him from getting inside.
The robbery was captured on Ring video. As we showed you on King 5, 2 people were coming home from a casino when a man ran up behind them and tried to get inside. They were able to lock the door and keep him out.
In broad daylight, 2 men attempted to steal a motorcycle, but their plans quickly unraveled. As the motorcycle owner noticed the theft in progress, they rushed out of their house to intervene. However, the situation escalated as bystanders joined in, resulting in the 2 robbers being overwhelmed by the crowd. It's safe to say they regretted their decision to steal the motorcycle.
Trying to steal a motorcycle in broad daylight, and let's just say it did not end so well.
Immediately, the owner of the motorcycle ran out of his house to stop these guys, and this is where things took a turn for the worse for the two robbers.
3 men decided to pay an unholy visit to a large house while the owners were fast asleep at night. The intruders entered one after another, with the leader taking the lead. Checking if anyone was around, he went into the lobby to his right, followed by the other 2. One was armed with a knife, while the others only wore gloves. They walked upstairs to the man's bedroom and after a while returned downstairs, not with cash or kind, but armed with kitchen knives and wires. The leader moved toward a room, but hearing movement as the woman awoke, he quickly ran back to join the others. In an unexpected move, the woman fired a gunshot from the room, causing the intruders to flee by jumping through the window. The husband, awakened by the gunshot, rushed downstairs armed with his gun. To protect his wife, he searched all the rooms to ensure the burglars were no longer inside. At the McGuire Plaza Senior Citizen Center in Northeast Oklahoma City, an unidentified man created a terrifying scene by brandishing a gun at multiple individuals. Tragically, the situation culminated in his fatal shooting by an officer. According to video evidence released by the police, as well as body camera footage, the armed gunman had 3 people at gunpoint while attempting to invade the building. The suspect, later identified as Owens Bay, resorted to desperate measures upon the arrival of law enforcement officers. He placed a gun to a victim's head in a bid to use him as a shield for escape. Sergeant Daniel Higginbotham was the first officer on the scene and instructed Bay to surrender his weapon, which he refused, instead fleeing into the building. Shortly thereafter, he found himself surrounded by law enforcement. With no means of escape, Bay sought refuge behind a vending machine, where he managed to discharge 1 round before discarding the gun. Despite attempts to retrieve the weapon, Officer Higginbotham closed in and fatally shot him.
6'4", he's got 3 people at gunpoint.
Video of the moments police pull up to the McGuire Plaza Senior Citizen Center in Northeast Oklahoma City.
A couple in Idaho survived a home invasion that could have very well cost them their lives. The lady, relaxed on the couch, was busy with her phone, unaware of the impending danger. As she rested, a loud bang suddenly threw the door open as an armed intruder barged in. He immediately pointed his shotgun at the man, who was in the room opposite the entrance stairs, asking him to sit.
The intruder orders Caspian to take a seat. Then he turns his attention and his shotgun toward Caspian's fiancée on the couch.
Then the intruder turned to the lady on the couch, who was paralyzed with fear. Summoning his courage, her companion charged at the intruder and started wrestling for control of the shotgun. Isabel quickly rolled off the couch, trying to call for help but unable to voice out. The unrelenting intruder began dragging him down the stairs. The man managed to overpower the suspect, seizing the shotgun and kicking him out of the house. 2 minutes later, there was a knock at the door, and you won't believe what it was. The intruder wanted his shotgun back. The man and his companion refused, and when the intruder tried to force his way back in, they overpowered him again. The police arrived, and they handed over the shotgun, recounting the entire incident. Later that night, the suspect, a 28-year-old man named Eddie Walker, was arrested. He pled guilty to the crime and was sentenced to 11 years in prison.
Arrested that night was 28-year-old Eddie Walker. He pled guilty to aggravated battery,